Hi everyone, it's Steven. And we're coming to the close of 2021. Thank goodness it's over. It's been quite a year. And now I'm thinking about what I'm going to do for my final video of the year. I have an idea. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoy it. Wales, Philippines. Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Where Else Philippines. This is Steven. I want to first thank all of my new subscribers, returning subscribers, and viewers to my channel. It's been quite a year. 2021 is going out with a bang. Typhoon Ray has caused a lot of havoc and devastation through what they call the belt buckle of the Philippines, through the Visayas region, parts of Mindanao, small parts of Luzon. I personally was not affected in the area that I'm living. It is in central Luzon, up close to Manila. So fortunately or luckily, the typhoon gods spared us. It didn't come through us and cause the damage that it did to a good portion of the country. I feel for them. I've been through typhoons here. I've been trapped a few times on my street because of fallen trees and without power or water. But these guys got hit pretty bad, and my heart goes out to them, my sympathies. And you know, it made it kind of difficult for me to do a video last week with Christmas fast approaching, and it just seemed inappropriate. So Christmas now is past. It doesn't change their plight, but you know, it is time to kind of move on. So we did have a Christmas here. A lot of little cousins and relatives from my girlfriend's family were able to spend Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and day after unwrapping presents, eating a lot of food, playing some games. We enjoyed it, and now they're gone. So back to just me and Yang in the house, so we can have some peace and quiet and end this year. So in preparation for this video, what I decided to do was kind of do like a recap of my 3 months, 4 months, whatever it was. September I started, so 4 months of vlogging. It's been quite an experience, and I think I was able to do a little better with each one. And I kind of looked back on some of the ones that I did, and starting with the introduction, the get to know Where Else Philippines. Hi, my name is Steven Tyler, and I'm an expat living in the Philippines. And I want to welcome you to my new channel called Where Else Philippines. It's about my life here as an expat. I've been living here since 2011. I had some interesting experiences, and I'd like to share a few of them with you. For any of you who are thinking of retiring to live in a place outside of your home country. I hope you enjoy what I have to say and learn something and help you make decisions, and I'll be talking to you again soon. And then, of course, there was the video where we had to talk about the phrases, you know, learning how to speak some Filipino dialect, just to be able to have communications with the people who are in this country. I mean, English is a second language, but you know, it isn't always spoken. And you want to get the Filipino price, sometimes it's better to be able to speak, you know, Filipino. So, you know, the other video that I thought was important was just to kind of show an idea of things that you should be doing. I mean, just because I'm retired doesn't mean that I have to sit around and rock in a rocking chair. You know, you do have to have some hobbies, and I kind of went through that in this video. When you're here in the Philippines, you have to consider having a hobby as well. Now, you might say, well, I'm going to do some traveling around while I'm in the Philippines. That's a hobby. You can do that. I've done that. You can experiment with cooking new recipes. I've done that too. I've tried that. There's a couple of apps that you can get that will show some recipes, and a lot of the ingredients that they have listed in those recipes can be found here. And if they can't be found, then I'm sure that you can make some very decent substitutions, as I have done. There's listening to music. As you can see from here, I brought all of my music with me. Over in the corner here in one of the closets, I have a bunch of DVDs. But photography is my passion, and photography is my hobby. There was a series of videos that I did talking about visas. How I was able to stay here for 10 years on a tourist visa, and why that was no longer viable once the COVID outbreak took place. If I wanted to be able to leave the country and return, I needed to have a different visa, since tourism was kind of getting slammed and a tourist visa was not going to be given to foreigners coming in to the country during this pandemic. And the process that I went through to obtain a retirement visa was not only enlightening for me, it was a way that I could have some sort of a permanent residence here without having to leave a whole ton of money in the bank untouchable during my stay. And that was talked about in a series of videos about Philippine visas and the special retirement residence visa, or SRRV, that I was able to obtain and was successful. If you recall, a few weeks ago, I talked about in one of my videos was about the various Philippine visas that were required to have foreign nationals that were non-Filipinos be able to enter the Philippines during this COVID crisis. And I had been here for the last 10 years under a tourist visa. And even though I kept my tourist visa up to date, it was not a good enough visa to have if I were to leave at this point the Philippines and returned back to my home here, since I am retired and living here. And that one of the visas that allowed these foreign nationals to come back in was a SRRV visa, a special resident retirement visa, which I applied for. Going through this process took about a month and a half, given the fact that in between there were, I think, 2 lockdowns that we had because of the COVID. But we got through all of that, got everything done, submitted all the paperwork, and about a week ago, they told me my visa was approved. Of course, there's always a question of finding girlfriends. And while I am not recommending that you do some long distance online dating or looking at the dating sites when you get here to hook up with some young Filipina because you think it's going to be the fountain of youth for you. I did do a video just to explain the pitfalls that I've gone through in trying to find a companion once the person who I came here with was no longer with me. I tried it. I got lucky. And as you can see, it had its issues. And the big question is for all you guys out there that are living outside of the Philippines who want to come here, are you coming because you're looking for love, or are you just looking for lust? You just want to date a Filipina, or are you looking for long-term commitments? And those are things that are in every mind of everyone who comes here and of the minds of the people who you run into when you get here. You know, you can go online and hook yourself up, and then, you know, maybe get a chance if you find the one that you think is interesting enough, spend some money and fly over and spend some time here and, you know, get to know the person and then decide whether you're going to stay or fly back. If it's something that's going to be continuous, then you fly back and forth. And, you know, that's the way to do it. If you're here for long term and, you know, you find yourself without, then you're back to the online dating again. You're back to looking through Facebook, do the bar scene and run around and, you know, meet people in bars and different clubs, and maybe you have some friends, or you can, you know, talk to a friend, or the friend can introduce you to a friend, and so there's friends of friends. And so, you know, the online dating can be very tricky. And I did it a few more times. Those are the things that I had to go through in order to finally get to the point where I'm at now. And lastly, and probably most importantly, is the cost of living. I did do a video on the living expense here in the Philippines, at least for me. I know that is a video subject that is going to be updated fairly soon in the new year. Since I did some new calculations and came up with a spreadsheet, whereas before I was kind of talking off the cuff, based on memory. I now have some actual figures that, for people who want to see proof, I can actually show. I don't think I was that far off in my calculations, but I will show that soon. But in the meantime, you know, I did do the cost of living video. I did do the house tour, and, you know, kind of went like that. So that's my house. This is where Yang and I live. The rent here is very reasonable. It looks big, it looks expensive. Probably in the next year or so, we're going to start looking for a permanent place to live, build a house, maybe in the province somewhere. We'll have to see how the pandemic goes. If everything goes well, we can start seriously looking for a new place, build ourselves a home, like we've seen other people do. I have no embarrassment about being in a big house. It, as I said, it doesn't take a lot to maintain. My bills aren't extravagant. I didn't come here to be cramped. I came here to be comfortable. Um, you can have something like this too. I'm not knocking anybody else who has paid less for rent and live in a smaller house, or whether they live in the province or whether they live in the city. where people live here in the Philippines as an expat is entirely up to them. It's whatever you can afford. So that's been a recap of Where Else Philippines channel for 2021. Just going over some of the highlights of the videos. I guess this is kind of a one video playlist, if you call it that. It's been fun. It's been a blast. Bringing you some tips. Hopefully you guys learned something about the Philippines, about the country, the people, some of the things that I do, and how it could be for you if this is a decision that you want to make to retire outside of your own country. For those Filipinos who are watching this channel, I hope that I brought you some positive thoughts about the Philippines, and I tried to keep everything in a positive light. This is nothing negative that I have to say that can't be said about any other place as well. So I hope you all come back and join me again in 2022 when we bring you more episodes from Where Else Philippines. For those of you who are new to the channel, please hit like and subscribe. All of you subscribers who are following me, hit the like button. Always helps. Tell your friends, come back again. I'm wishing everyone out there to stay safe, stay COVID free, be healthy, prosperous, be kind to one another, do the best you can in life, and you won't be disappointed. Happy New Year. See you all next year. Stephen, Tyler, Where Else Philippines, out for the year.